Hey guys, before we get started on this particular episode, this is me from the future. Okay, welcome. I'm about a week ahead in the future, I guess, maybe a bit more. Anyway, I've just found out that what I tell you in this episode, and also in the previous episode about planning how you're going to then channel down, no longer applies in version 50. So it's actually been taken out of the game. So everything I wrote about making sure you had the hole here and here, and I'll be going through that again, I think, in this particular episode. Ignore that, because there's no longer any safety net through here. So it means that we have to now start to think of other ways to protect these areas, and it becomes actually a bit more dangerous, like a lot more dangerous to have these little areas. We're probably going to need to have like a Mark's dwarf. It's essentially an open hole that goes straight down into the lava. Now, in this case, I actually work directly on top of the lava, which is even worse. And so, because basically it's not so much these little fire snakes we see through here. These are like pests. They're like rats. They don't really sort of bother you that much. It's the magma crabs will actually come back out as well, and they're not violent, but they do just spawn, and they'll spawn any old place. And so if they're spawning it in a lava lake like this, it's going to be pretty natural for them to just bounce out of these little areas. And every single one of these is now a weakness. Now, if I had channels, I think it would be a little bit safer, because they may spawn somewhere else and have to sort of swim down the channel to get back out. But either way, that's a problem. So so what I tell you about that one in this instance, forget what I say about the safety zone, channeling through here and through here. You can actually channel anywhere around the 8 outside tiles to make it work. You can't channel in the middle one. You can see there we've got like this peasant is smelting, and they have to stand on the middle one. So whatever you do, I would actually probably now advise to go into one of the corners in each case, just so that it's sort of like if they do jump away, at the moment they can jump into this one from from a lot of these different places. It's still like and that's what I'm thinking, if they're sort of moving around, there's just more opportunity for them to end up, if they're avoiding combat, to end up in the lava, and that's actually a big problem. The magma crabs themselves aren't that bad, but it's the bouncing around that we want to try to avoid. So anyway, that is no longer a solid tile, unfortunately. Well, I mean, that's just the game. The game has changed, and either this one or this one. So just be aware of that. Anyway, I'll let you get on with the episode. I don't think it was. Oh yes, there was one other thing as well. Also, one of finding is there even this is an upstair. They can see there a granite upward staircase. Now, I haven't tested this to see what happens if I build a staircase over the top of it, make it a construction. But at the moment, I'm also finding that magma crabs are actually bouncing from below here straight up into this side. So what I've had to do is go to the level above, and then I'm now going to sort of channel this one out, or just dig it out, so that we end up with just a floor, and that should then stop them from coming back up. But that's also, and I think that is a bug. I'm assuming that that's a bug where the magma crabs can just come into an upstair straight away. So it's an opening. I've noticed a few of them bounce up into this area as well. So I think that the option here, I do want to test it at some point, just to sort of see what does happen, but I'm not going to know until there's magma crabs coming out. But I have seen them just suddenly appear here, and that's not good. So we really want to be sort of now that I've got the downward stair here, which goes into solid ground, that should now be safe for me to then go and channel that one out. Anyway, I'll leave it there, guys, and I'll let you get on with it. Welcome, and I've calmed down. The reason I've calmed down is that yesterday I lost 4 days worth of my game saves, and so I had to go all the way back a full year of game time, which is actually 7 or 8 episodes of recordings to take the game back again to the current state. And I have missed some things. I will have to go back through and just sort of make sure that everything is actually where it needs to be. So essentially it's been a reset for the last 12 months of the history of the Fortress, which is a problem. That's why it looks a bit different. I've actually been able to make use of the of the bits of the, I guess, the learnings from the previous one, and so I've actually just changed the order. So this one is directly over the top of the magma sea at this point in time, rather than going through. I wanted to show you in the last episode how to channel lava safely, like so you'd actually create that little pond and then move in from there. So that was still useful as an exercise, but in this case I just went straight down underneath, and I've got like areas to then open up more of it, and I've got another area where I'm just allowing it to go another level above if we needed to, and also below if required. I've also got above this like a big storage area, which we haven't sort of got anything away from here just yet. And then the actual main area will then sort of go up through the different Z levels and through this side. So we're a long way down, -74. So this one hasn't changed that much. In this episode, by the way, we're going to be looking at minecarts. So we'll actually go through the operation of minecarts, just in basic terms. We won't do anything too tricky. So it's going to be basically how they work, how you build them, and what they do, what the benefit of a minecart actually is, and when you would or would not use it. And so there's a few little things there that we have to sort of then talk about. And so this will be where the minecart system will then come in. This will be the station, essentially, that we're going to sort of then place on the actual map itself. And we go from there. And so this is going to be when the materials are then built down at the bottom of the fortress. They'll then be transported up to the top of the fortress for then use by the actual dwarves that are basically doing the fighting and doing whatever else has to happen up the very top of the fortress. So this will be a production centre a long way away from the rest of the fortress. That will be the premise. Hopefully we'll get most of that done this episode. Actually, you should get all of it done this episode, I would think. Now, I'll just take you through the little change that I have made. I've changed where this, in fact, I think I did sort of show, we had sort of designed where this was going to come in. Anyway, I've now got this now looping directly above, and these haven't been channeled out yet. They'll be channeled out fairly soon. I'm channeling it from both up and below, so I've got a channel up and a channel down, so if they're coming from either angle, they're going to be able to then meet in the middle there somewhere. So anyway, they go all the way up. One thing I have done is I'll just keep on zipping forward. When we get to this level here, actually, which one was it? I think it's further down. What I did here was actually just channeled straight out. So I exposed the this area rather than doing it over here, which is where we did it last time. I've gone across and come out across the top of the water. It's just a safer spot. So I thought, well, if the game has ripped me off by a year's worth of game saves, and it is the game was the problem. I don't know what the issue actually is. I think it's because I'm running two different games. I'm running a Twitch game and also my YouTube game. And so when things save, I've noticed that sometimes, it's happened a few times now, where it will destroy the save games for one of the games. Not completely, but it'll get rid of a lot of them, and it's really a big problem. So I hope that they get that resolved. By the time you're watching this, hopefully it's already been fixed. But it's a massive issue with that one there. Really frustratingly annoying. So I'm now working around that by taking zip copies of the world.sav files when I hit important landmarks, and then I just keep them in a separate directory. That way I can always bring them back. That's all you need, by the way, to sort of save a fortress is when you open up your save directory and then go inside the directories inside there. But at the very bottom, there's a world.sav file. You don't need anything else in there to actually have a save file. It's just that one file. And so you then bring that in, like you resurrect it, get rid of everything else in the directory, bring it back in, and then just reload it from there. That's essentially what we've got. So anyway, that's where we are. It then sort of splits out all the stuff it needs to then sort of work the game at that point. As we come back up, so I've got shorter distance in through here. This is still sort of zipping its way back up again. So similar to what we sort of saw there before. And I'll talk a little bit about this as well, up through that little area in that little gap, and then back up into the actual fortress itself. And so I've now just got it coming around, coming back in, and this is going to be the up area of where the actual thing will come in. And so it's a different, I had built it over here previously, now I've just put it in the middle here. So it's fairly central. And I've left a column in there so that when the carts, if the carts ever do get powered, at least there'll be like a stop, so that if it smashes into there, it's not going to hurtle across where we may have dwarves walking. I'll talk about all this when we get into it anyway. Right, as we continue on up the fortress, we didn't do much changes in through here. In fact, I think I've missed a few things which I may have to go and do. I did get rid of all of the, I've extended this one on and also dumped a lot of the stuff that was actually in through here. So we got rid of probably hundreds of skeletons over the course of me just going through. I just put it on, and we've got up to 46 population now as well. It went all the way back to 18 population, so I had to really just grind my way back up to this particular point. Anyway, we've been atom smashing these things. That's will be nice and clean. What else have we got in through here? Nothing. I didn't make any changes in through there. I don't know if I linked all the bridges. I'll check that anyway. I mean, we've done it. I've done it in recording, so that'll be okay. And then when we come up the top, so this is now, you'll notice I've got less farming in the second bottom layer. So this is a top layer. This is the bottom layer in through here. Less farms. I've gotten rid of all of the sand or the soil that was actually on these walkways. So these have now all been sort of nicely paved, or we've got either flooring, paving, or actual rock staircases in now. So everything is nice and clean. And then these as well. I only need two more farming areas, so I've just put 2 farms in there for the above ground farms. Again, I've just put the flooring in through there. It doesn't have to be flooring all the way out. It just has to either be paving, which is actually cheaper than flooring. So we've got paving out around the outer side edge, but paving won't go across a gap. So you do need to have flooring across the gap, and then paving around the outside edge to stop the trees from growing. Now, if you just use soil paving, trees can still grow in that. So you need to actually use actual paving. So there we are, and we've got it now nice and clean, ready for the I've got like a 3 area in front for when the wagons do come. Actually, someone was saying that the wagons have changed. Now, I haven't actually had one arrive in any of my forts yet, so we may have to look at changing some things with that. Apparently, they need now a parking area when they do come, and I'm not sure how that actually does work. So we'll have to sort of see what happens with that one through there. Now you'll notice that this is very, very different than what it was before. I've now got like the area above this with the paving. I've sort of channeled all this out with flooring, so it's a lot neater than what it actually was. And if those of you that are a little bit observant, you'll notice that there's actually a couple of goblins. So we're back at this point again, and it just so happens, just by freaky accident, that the same kid, the same 2-year-old, Locum cubicalis, is still back outside in almost the same position. And so we've got cubicalis back in through here, the dwarven child. The difference is that I've told everyone to go outside and get all the loot from outside. So we've actually got a lot of dwarves outside as well. So anyway, this is so the 2-year-old is a dabbling milker and dabbling planter. And so she will be the target again of these particular goblins, but we might be able to now stop the interaction before it goes too far. So we've got different dwarves. I've got a dwarf down through here. This is Fecod the herbalist. We've got a peasant. Now peasants will be good for us to put in. So they're going off to get other loot. It's just talking about the military. We've got Eater back in through here. We've got another peasant. So it looks like all the peasants would be a good one for us. Have we got anyone else? We've got a crossbowman who will now actually start to fire crossbow bolts at these goblins as well. But they will be trying to snatch the kid or trying to get into the fortress. Another peasant there. So all the peasants are out here collecting all of the actual loot. Maybe even more of them. Let's just go quickly into how we can make our the group that we had put together originally. We can actually now make that one fairly responsive fairly quickly, and this will not be about doing military, so I'm just going to gloss over this. But essentially all we do is we go back across. We've got the Passionate Rocks is the name of the group. That was what the game, we can always change the name of that if we wanted to, but I'll keep it that way. No special orders, and it's off duty. Now, this is something I wasn't aware of. There's a few changes with the squads, but on my Twitch stream, like it was sort of, we were experimenting with it, trying to figure out the best way of getting responsiveness from the actual guys themselves. There's a few things. When we click on this one, we can change the equipment and the schedule. Now, one of the problems if we go and change things across is that we can, if we go and make it so that they have to then go and do something as when they're off duty, they then have to go on to duty, which means that they will tend to go and pick up all of their equipment and then come back. And so instead of having them off duty, the first thing you should do with all of your military, to be honest, is just go to schedule and change it from off duty to ready. This way they're always ready to go, but with no orders. So ready, no orders, the routine becomes ready. So that's actually what they are. And so it means that they've pretty much always got their equipment with them. And so that's sort of where they are with that one. So that's one thing that you do. So routine is ready. The other thing, which I'll go into a lot more detail about this when we do the actual military squads properly, when we do the equipment back in through here, you'll see that there's bits and pieces missing. Now I don't, like even now, they're still going to go off and just pick stuff up. So I don't want them to go and start looking for equipment before they attack these goblins. We don't have time for that. So what I need to do is actually just get something where they'll just, whatever they've got in their hands, just go and use it and smash them. And so I'm going to go and I'm going to go and build a new uniform essentially. So one thing you can do is update equipment whenever you've got like changes, which we're not ready to just yet. But we can assign a uniform to the group. Like if I just right click on that one through there, again it's equip. I can then assign a uniform, and it's actually assign a uniform into here, or I can build a uniform, and I think I'm going to do that. But before I do that, I'm going to go to the individual people and just go through anyone that I like. These miners will be down below, so I'm going to go and get the miner and replace it with pretty much anyone that's just a peasant. I didn't see Kib, didn't see Kivish. I'm just trying to think of the ones that I just did see out here. There's a lot of peasants. I should have actually taken a better look. Enod is out there. So I'm just going to go and start to, I'll just pause and just go through and actually put the different peasants in here. Okay, so I've changed a lot of these. I've kept anyone with an axe in their hand because at least they're carrying their weapon of choice. And so what we're now going to do is we're going to now go and assign a uniform to them that's going to be very, very simple just for this first little bit until we actually get something established. So this is just because we have to respond very, very quickly. So we now have the people, including some of the others that are sort of walking around up the top here. So we can then start to use them straight away as long as we get the equipment right. If we get the equipment wrong, they're going to go off and look for equipment. So we're just going to go to equip, and we're just going to go to details. Now I'll do it with this one. You can see they're all wearing leather armor, so I'm just going to have to create a new set of armor. I'm just going to go to details, and what I don't want, I pretty much don't want anything. So if I just go back and just get rid of, in fact, but the easiest way to do this is to just go back and assign a uniform, and it's got no uniform, but no uniform is not enough. If I click on that one through there, you can see all they're going to carry is a backpack and a flask. So they've got something to drink and something to eat. But we do want them to still use their weapon. If we do this one, they're all just going to be wrestlers. They're going to drop whatever they're carrying. We don't want them to drop anything. So what we're doing through here now is we just go into details with this particular one, and then just go across and add a new weapon. And the weapon we want is just an individual choice of melee. So whatever they like, they can have whatever they actually want. It's for the actual melee weapon. And so we're just going to enter the name of this one is, what should we call it? No gear, or just maybe just ready to go would be that way there's nothing much really on them. And they're very, very weak in this sort of instance. Confirm and save the uniform. So we now have a weapon of choice in through there. And so if we now go across, and when it's red, it means that they're going to look for something. Now that may not be what we want, but we'll see how we go, because they may still also go and do what we ask them to do as well, depending on the orders that we give. So with that one there, we've sort of now got that one. They're just going to where you can see this one's got ready to go. If we just go back across again, I'll just right click from there. Sorry, if I just go to equipment, assign uniform, ready to go. That's everyone's now got ready to go. And so they should keep their weapon of choice here when we release it. And then they'll sort of do what they have to do. This way they don't have to start looking around for actual armor. They'll just go ahead and just grab something or nothing and go and do the attack. And in this case, we just want them to wrestle these guys to the ground and pummel them to death. So we can sort of see this one over through here looks like it's vectoring towards the kid. And this one here looks like it's vectoring towards the actual location here. So what we're just going to quickly do is to grab these. I'll just reduce the speed for the Alt minus, get it down to around about say 15 or 16, and I'm just going to now give them the order to attack the closest one, the one going for the kid. So I'm just going to click on that one, confirm the attack order. So kill Amsu is going to be the attack order. Let's now just let it go forward a little bit. And here comes some of the groups. That one's run across into there. This one is firing bolts. This one is actually avoiding the kid. Okay, that's actually not too bad. Let's just keep it going. The bolt missed. It's trying to make a run for it now. It may get away. Here comes the military, trying to chase it down. Yeah, I think it's going to get away. Anyway, that's okay. Oh, there's more bolts firing at it. Off she goes. Yep, we're not going to get there in time. Oh no, here it comes. It's coming back again. Good. So our guys will now start to come after it. So the order is still to kill it. So it's now coming back in again. It's not. Its mission is not over. It's thinks it's avoided us, but it hasn't. It'll come into the clearing. Here we go. Now is this is a swordsman? This is FECOD. Going to be charging it down. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. It is going to try to get away, and bang! We're starting to now pummel it. So we're now going to start to see that. Oh, hang on, it's not there yet. They still haven't caught it. Not quite. Let's just get all of this stuff done. There's some fighting going on. Here we go. The Swords Dwarf FECOD is now fighting. So the Swords Dwarf attacks the Goblin Thief, but he jumps away. So it'll take a little while to chase him down. If we can somehow just get one hit in, we should be okay. Oh, we've done some damage. Okay, that little heart there, the little black heart, black and red heart, is indicating that there's been some issues there. So if we have a look at the Swords Dwarf again, so he punches the Goblin Thief in the upper right arm. So he kicks the Goblin Thief, twists the knee. Now this could make it so that it's going to now have trouble walking, and so he's doing fairly well. Scratches the Thief in the upper right arm, bending the shoulder. So he's done a few hits. If we have a quick look at the Thief itself, yeah, he's bleeding and overexerted, so he's now tired. If we have a look at the health, yep, slight pain. Ability to stand has been lost. Ability to grasp is somewhat impaired. So he can still move around, but not very fast. Now, is anyone else coming to help? Come on, guys. Get with it. Get with it. It's just a ranger. No, these are just still out there just doing their thing. There's a peasant. I didn't get Meng involved. I'm not sure where the others all are. It looks like he's on his own. There's the crossbowman. Where was it? Up here. So we'll just watch it as they sort of then keep on pushing. He'll just keep on hitting it. This thing's trying to get away, but it's moving very, very slowly now. Yeah, now he's lost consciousness there briefly. So he's still bleeding and overexerted. Yeah, he's worried. We can have a look to see if there's any problems here. He's tired, but no real health problems. His upper arm is bruised, his left foot is bruised, his upper body is bruised. And he's wrestling with this one. So this one here is exhausted, bleeding, seriously injured now, and unconscious. So he will now just keep on pummeling him until he kills him. And so I don't think we have to really worry too much about this anymore. This will be the end of that particular character. He's just going to keep on smacking his way through. He's dusting the snow away from there as he goes. There we go. So that's actually now been done. So these guys, once that order has been given, he just did that on his own. That was fine. So the others, if we have a quick look at them, we can then sort of see what they're carrying. So the others did drop a lot of the stuff. They did pick up some of the equipment. So it wasn't perfect, and I probably should have tried to find other people that were close by that could actually hunt them down. So they've just gone in with nothing, essentially. So at this stage, they're now ready. So they will actually start to go and pick up a piece of equipment for next time. Just go back to the squads. And so because they've got the routine as being ready, they will actually have strapped to their back some equipment. And there's a lot of equipment that they can pick up from the ground. So they will have some sort of weaponry eventually. We'll have a look at that probably at the end of this episode. This one here, I'm just literally just going through and reclaiming the whole lot. So we'll just go and claim that one. And we've got the other one caged away down through here. So that's all fine. Everything's happy and good to go. Let's go down the bottom and start talking about the mine carts. This still hasn't come through just yet. What I might do is I might just pause until we actually get to like all of this dug out, and then I can talk about the principles of doing mine carts. Well, we have another issue. So Parapini, one of our artifacts, has actually gone missing. So it is missing from its proper place. We're just going to and just pause very quickly because what do we got? We've got it's missing from its proper place. Let's have a bit of a look to see what's going on. Okay, it was over here. Now that I'm not going to worry about it actually. Sorry, it must be out here. If we have a quick look at the artifacts, and we can sort of see we've got the Leopard of Hustling, which is inside in here in this weapon bin now. So that's actually something we have to be a bit careful of as well. That's sort of like where it can be sort of moved. That's definitely something we don't want to be losing sight of. What else have we got in through here? Failed items. So the failed irons. This is a Marks Dwarf. So he must be carrying that one, I guess. A different. Yep. So that one is worth 3000, so a legendary copper battle axe. Alright, what else have we got that we can actually go and see? And we have Urdis and Nullrill as well. So this is a treasure of the stable rack. This one here looks like it's just come in. This one as well also doesn't actually have a back history. So if we have a look at Parapini, just find out a bit about it. Where is it? I've lost sight of it now. It was probably brought to the location, and we just lost sight of it completely. I can see if the fact that it was outside, I don't think is something we have to worry about. I don't think we built it. Yeah, I'm not seeing it there at all, so we don't know much about it. There's another one inside. There's an artifact in there. We've got to do better with this, actually. We do have to do better with this, but at this stage, I'm still trying to get to the point where actually, maybe what I should do is actually start the... Well, actually, I want to be doing all sorts of different things before I go too far with this. Let me go down and just see if we've got pedestals. I don't think we've got any pedestals built. Just go to one of these areas. Just go to work orders. I'll just add in make rock pedestals, and then we'll sort of put them into a position where we can actually then show them all off somewhere central. So it was outside, so we can't do much about that one. Anyway, I'll pause again and we'll wait until everything else is built. It's taken a long time for my guys to go down and actually finish off what they're doing. They're actually all getting their equipment. Like if we go and have a look, we can sort of see. Actually, this one's got no job. This one does now have dig orders. Great. It's going back down now to go and dig. So we can sort of watch it then go back down all the way through. Then start the process. Anyway, I'll pause again. Look, we actually don't have time to do the minecarts. When I look at the clock, we're sort of at 23 minutes at the moment for this particular recording, which is now means that we don't have enough time to do it. And I would like to try to do minecarts all in one episode, just so we can sort of get all that done. So what I think I might do to finish this episode off is just go through how to protect yourself if the game is sort of, if you're at all concerned about the game chewing up your game save files, which was what I did with mine. So I'll go through the steps on basically how to sort of what to look for, where to pull it out from, how to archive it, etc., etc. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go across and save and return to the title menu. Now I'm going to save to this timeline. I'm just going to go, that's what's recommended, it's in through there. So I'm just going to do that. And so I'm back at the start. Now if I go continue active game, you can see there I've got like DAS30 down through here. This is the timeline. So you can save timelines which are separate to folders. They're not actually folders, and I think this is part of the problem. Like if there's only one save, it'll tell you what the actual folder is. Like this one's just called Twitch. If I go into this timeline of DAS30, which is one of the older saves that I actually had, if I click back into here, you'll sort of see that I've got autosave 1 and 2, and then also this folder called YouTube. So that's actually where they're living. But we're going to go out from here. We're going to quit out of Dwarf Fortress. I'll just manually show you how to then go and do this. I think the easiest way to find where this actually is just go to your library and then just go down to Dwarf Fortress, wherever that might be, under D, there it is, Dwarf Fortress, and then just right click and then just go to Manage and then go to Browse Local Files. Okay, so this is the easiest way to just quickly go directly to the local files. So it'll then go through wherever your Steam library is, it'll then go to Common, Dwarf Fortress, and then open up this particular area. Now save is where the save files are. There we are. So we just go and double click on that one, open it up, and you can see then that I did actually have like a YouTube and Twitch area. I've got autosave 1 and 2. There's a current, now when you're currently playing the game, in the middle of the game, it will then load in whatever you load into this area and use that to play with. So it plays into current and then saves it back out to wherever you designate, or into autosaves back in through this side. So if I go into YouTube, which is the one that we're actually currently doing, you'll see that there's a whole lot of stuff in through here. Actually, it can even be more than this. This is not that onerous. But down the very, very bottom of this list is a world.sav file. So this is our actual save file. That's all we need. So all I do is basically just go and right click on this one through here. And I'm just going to go to 7-zip, which is my archiving, like any sort of archiving program that you've got, or you don't even have to do that. You can just put it in different directories if you wanted to, but just copy it. So I'm just going to go and we're going to compress to world.zip. So just go and do that. So we now have a world.zip along with the save file. I'm just going to grab that one, Control X to cut it out of there. or I can just go and right click and just go cut. There it is down there. So it's now cut. Just go back into the save file. I've got an archive area, and so I'm just basically going through, you know, what we actually have through here. So I'm just going to go back across, and we'll just go and paste. And I'm just now going to change the name of this one to DAS37, which is this episode. So DAS37 world.zip will be fine. And so that way, at least I can go back and just grab that file. And that's all I need. Like, to actually, if you've got other problems with the game, I'll just show you this, because if I go into YouTube and delete all of the other stuff in through here, just ditch it, get rid of it all entirely, and just have the world.sav file, what it'll do is, if I do go back into the game, there we are. Won't take long. Eventually. All right, so with that file there, if I just go continue active game, it's still in there. It's still under YouTube. I can still open it up, and it will then just load in. And now it's going to build all those object files. And we'll just go back and have another look at that as well, so you can sort of see where this is actually then operating from and how the game is actually working. I think if you get a basic understanding of how the game actually is, what it's doing, it may help you to manage things a bit better. So we're still exactly where we were, even though we got rid of all those other extraneous files. If I just now I'll tab back out, and I'll just go back to that same location. Actually, forget this bit of it. I thought we'd see things actually loading into current, but we're not seeing it there. So eventually that does sort of fill up with stuff, I guess, over the course of the of your actual gameplay. But anyway, that's the process I'm using to try to now secure. I don't want to have this happen again, where I lose days worth of gameplay. Anyway, guys, we're going to leave it there. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode, when we will go through minecarts, unless something big happens.